Salutations. Marcus Aurelius here. Yes, the ancient Roman emperor. Did you know that I had a secret formula to disappear without running away and completely transform my life? My teachings are more relevant today than ever, and they hold the key to thriving in our chaotic modern world. From silencing inner chaos to embracing change, my Stoic methods for transformation are timeless. Stick around, because by the end, you'll unlock a Stoic secret that could change everything. Picture this. You're at the command of the vast Roman Empire, managing wars, betrayals, and endless demands, only to find a plague knocking at your palace gates. Life was chaotic, to say the least. Yet through it all, I kept my sanity, not with lavish banquets or grand spectacles, but with a humble diary. That little collection of my private thoughts is what you now know as Meditations, a guide that has endured for over 2,000 years. Who knew my midnight scribblings would outlast marble statues? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the weight of your responsibilities? Like the world expects you to carry it all on your shoulders, even when it feels like it's crumbling? Let me assure you that you're not alone. Every crisis I faced taught me a valuable truth. The storm outside doesn't matter if you can master the calm within. And yes, while you might face different challenges, your battles might be deadlines and decisions rather than swords and sieges, the principles remain the same. Control what you can. Accept what you can't. Keep moving forward. It's as true now as it was back in the Senate chambers of Rome. So let's talk about the art of disappearing. Let me tell you, it's not about fleeing the chaos of life. It's about stepping within, to the sanctuary of your own mind. Every night, no matter how heavy the weight of ruling the Roman Empire felt, I would retreat to my journal. Those pages, my meditations, were where I reminded myself of the only thing I truly controlled: my thoughts. I lived by the mantra that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. But think about that for a moment. You don't control the opinions of others, the actions of your enemies, or the whims of fate. What you do control is how you respond. This is where true freedom lies, not in circumstances, but in perspective. For me, journaling wasn't just a task, it was a lifeline. Each night, after the palace had gone quiet, I would reflect on the day. What had I done well? Where had I faltered? How could I improve tomorrow? In those moments, I found clarity. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you paused to reflect, to truly think, instead of scrolling through endless distractions? These days I hear about this doom-scrolling habit of yours. Let me tell you, I had my own scrolls, but they weren't filled with bad news and petty quarrels. They were tools for focus and wisdom. Reflection isn't a luxury, it's survival. Without it, the noise of life consumes you. So, when will you hit pause and reconnect with yourself? And that brings me to something else I learned. Boundaries. Yes, even an emperor needed to unplug. You see, the palace was a noisy, chaotic place. Advisors clamoring for my decisions, senators with endless demands, and the weight of an empire always on my shoulders. It would have been easy to let it overwhelm me, to never step away. But I knew better. I regularly retreated from the noise. I stepped away from the distractions of the palace to focus on philosophy, to reconnect with my purpose. Boundaries are not about building walls. They're about creating space for what truly matters. In my time, this meant saying no to unnecessary meetings, delegating tasks, and taking moments of solitude to clear my thoughts. And in your world, it might mean silencing your notifications, closing your laptop at a reasonable hour, or saying no to commitments that don't align with your goals. Let me make this clear. When you protect your time and your energy, you reclaim control over your life. A cluttered mind is like a cluttered battlefield, chaotic, disorganized, and vulnerable to defeat. But a focused mind? That is a fortress, unshakable and strong. So let me ask you again, what boundaries could you set today? Where can you create space for what truly matters in your life? Now, some of you may think, but Marcus, you had it easy. You were an emperor. You could afford to step away. To that I say, you don't need a throne to set boundaries. You don't need an empire to retreat into yourself and find clarity. These practices are not reserved for rulers. They are the tools of anyone seeking a life of purpose and peace. Disappearing isn't about abandoning your responsibilities. It's about stepping into a place of strength where you can face them with greater focus and resilience. It's about creating moments of stillness in a chaotic world. So, whether it's through journaling, setting boundaries, or simply taking a moment to breathe, remember this: the path to a clear mind and a meaningful life begins with stepping within. You might think an emperor like me had it easy, sitting on a throne, surrounded by marble statues and adoring crowds. But let me tell you, my reign was no stroll through the forum. I faced wars that threatened to tear the empire apart, plagues that ravaged our cities, and betrayals from those I trusted most. Yet here's the thing, I didn't let those challenges break me. I used them to grow stronger. You see, I told myself, what stands in the way becomes the way. What does that mean? Simply put, the obstacle you fear is actually the path forward. Take one of the most painful moments of my life as an example. One of my closest allies declared himself emperor after hearing a false rumor of my death and started a rebellion. Imagine the sting! But instead of reacting with anger, I chose compassion. I forgave him. Now hear me out. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's power. By letting go of revenge, I freed myself from the chains of anger and stayed focused on what truly mattered, leading the empire. Ask yourself this: could you forgive someone who tried to ruin you? Could you see a betrayal not as a wound, but as a lesson? The challenges you face are opportunities in disguise. So what's standing in your way right now? And how can you turn it into your greatest strength? Now let's shift gears to something that kept me steady even in the darkest times: gratitude. Yes, gratitude, a simple practice but one with immense power. No matter how chaotic things get in your life, try to start each day by reminding yourself what a privilege it is to be alive, to be able to think, to love, to enjoy. Even in the middle of wars and plagues, I could find things to be grateful for. Gratitude is a mindset. It grounded me. It reminded me that even amidst chaos, there is always something to appreciate. Let me ask you this: what's the first thing you do when you wake up? If you're like most people today, you probably reach for your phone, scrolling through endless notifications before you've even had your first sip of coffee. But what if you paused instead? What if, just for a moment, you asked yourself, what can I be grateful for today? Maybe it's your health, your family, or even just the fact that you have another day to try again. Gratitude shifts your perspective, turning even the smallest blessings into sources of strength. And from gratitude comes balance. Now, balance is something we all crave, isn't it? Life pulls us in so many directions: work, relationships, responsibilities. For me, it was the demands of ruling an empire. But gratitude helped me find stability. It reminded me to focus not on what was missing, but on what I already had. So what's pulling you off balance right now? Is it the endless grind of work? The pressure of always being on? What if, instead of trying to juggle it all, you focused on what truly matters? Let gratitude guide you. Let it be the anchor that keeps you steady in the storm. Life will always test you, that much I can promise. But remember, the obstacle isn't your enemy. It's your teacher. And gratitude isn't just a nice thought. It's the foundation for a meaningful, balanced life. So what challenge will you embrace with courage today? And what small thing can you be grateful for right now? The answers may just change your life. Transformation isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about action. The power to disappear from the chaos and transform your life has always been within you. Start today. Before you go, I challenge you to take one small step. Share in the comments how you'll apply what you've learned. And when you're ready for more, join us in the next video, where we'll dive into Seneca's Stoic habits that will transform your life in just 7 days. You won't want to miss it.